Well, hey y'all, I'm peeking out behind my ginger root plants that I planted earlier this spring, and we're going to harvest what we can out of this because winter is a-coming. The cold temperatures are coming, and I want to get them in the house. Now, I can directly sow this underneath trees and have a beautiful foliage underneath my trees and grow my rhizomes that way. Um, a rhizome, ginger root, or ginger is widely used in folk medicine. It is a herbaceous perennial that grows annually. It can be used as a ground cover under trees and in front of taller plants. Wild ginger is not edible. These leaves are poisonous, but the roots, the leaves itself are poisonous, but the roots are not. And you can eat the roots. It will continue to produce rhizomes year after year if you directly sow it. So I may be doing that with some of these. I may find a spot in my yard somewhere and just plant some. It likes partial shade and partial morning sun. Um, the leaves and the stems die back every year. And they need a 555 fertilizer if you're growing them in pots. Bad companions would be walnut trees. You would not want to plant these with walnut trees. Ginger is known to deter pests like aphids, red spider mites, thrips, and fungus gnats, among others. Companion plants would be a kefir lime, chili peppers, cilantro, and lemongrass. So if you grow lemongrass, you might want to put this beside your lemongrass. Health benefits are antioxidants. It will curb motion sickness and morning sickness. It reduces muscle pain and menstrual pain. May lower your blood pressure. Improve brain function. It may lower your cholesterol. It reduces bloating and IBS symptoms. It helps relieve common colds, relieves stress, and anti-aging properties. We have used ginger root for years with whole cloves and boil it and make a tea. I use a 1-inch piece of ginger root and I will slice it up, or you can mull it with about 12 cloves and make a tea with it. And then you can add lemon and honey for asthmatic symptoms. We used that for years for that. So that was some of my notes that I had written down on the ginger plant. Let me get this in my pocket. I'm going to change my view so that you can actually see the plants and see me trying to get these out of this dirt. Okay, so my ginger root has not died back like I wanted it to, but it is starting to die back. And I didn't bring my gloves out here, but I did bring a basket to carry it into the house with me to get it cleaned up. So I'm just going to kind of put my scissors in here and loosen this dirt around these plants and try to get them out of the bucket without damaging my roots. Since they all seem to have grown in one area. And hopefully we got some nice rhizomes out of this year. I save them back every year, and some of them, and replant. So you can replant them. And look, the dirt's going to come up with this. It always has a really good rootstock, y'all. Always. And so I'm going to put my dirt back into the pot as much as possible because that dirt is still good. And we're going to see what we get. We get some more of this dirt off. So we may find a spot out in our yard somewhere where we get morning sun and then shade in the afternoon for these to grow for next year. Cut some of these roots off. So there's the first one that I have dug up. It's small, but that's all right. We can still use it. I'm going to go ahead and cut my green off of this, my stalks. These go into your compost, or you can put them somewhere in your yard or a burn pile. So that is the first one out of this bucket. And another itty bitty rhizome there. I think I'm going to leave this one with the root on it and replant that, and hopefully we'll have some ginger root for next year. I'm just going to dig through this dirt a little bit, make sure I've gotten them all. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in my pot. Now what I'll do, since it's in a pot, is I'm going to put it I'll put it somewhere with some straw over the top of it to kind of protect it, and maybe wrap the pot until I can get it into the ground. So we're going to set this one aside and move over to this one. Now I've already started loosening this soil around this. And I'm going to pull the two bigger pieces and try to capture as much of that dirt back into my pot, that loose soil. I'm not getting as big of a harvest this year, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. We had some really strange weather this year. We had a lot of hot temperatures, and then we had massive amounts of rain from Hurricane Helene that came through. Just unbelievable weather patterns. Let's look at the rootstock on that. You see how it just bounds up the roots in these pots. And I did use a potting soil with this. This particular one that already had all the fertilizer and everything in it. We're getting to one of the rhizomes here. And it may be the only one in here. I don't know. We'll look and see. So this is the rhizome. And I'm going to leave the roots on this one as well and get it repotted. But I wanted to show you what it looks like. Now this one is not quite as ripe as the other ones. So we're going to pot that in the same pot as the other rhizome over here. Maybe we'll get a good harvest out of this next spring. We're going to try it out and see how it goes. Now I'll come out here later on this year, and when the temperatures start really dropping, I will be covering this with hay and wrapping something around my pot to protect those rhizomes. I've got one more in here, it looks like, or maybe a couple more. Here is a good one that I can put in my basket right here. So that's a good size rhizome. Now I got one more in here that I'm going to repot in the other pot. And it's got a really nice rootstock on it. It's small. See how small that is? But it's got a really nice rootstock on that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that planted in here as well. I'm going to make sure all my roots and everything are covered. And I'm just going to bring over some of this dirt and kind of fill in. Make sure I am not missing anything. That's just an old root. So we're going to really pack this in to give as much protection for the winter as we possibly can. Now you could probably bring these inside if you have a garage or something, or a greenhouse, and store them in there and winter them that way. That would probably be a good way to winter these out. I'm going to get that packed in there. They like moist soil. They don't like it sopping wet, but they do like it moist. So I'm going to leave these for next year. I'm going to winter them this year. This is actually my second year growing this. So I'm going to let these winter and see how they do. And we'll come back in the spring and see if we've got ginger growing already. That would be a bonus. They do need 6 to 10 months to mature and get a nice rhizome or ginger root like this. So I think we did really good this year. We got 4 really good pieces out of that. And I can take this and allow it to air dry, which is what I usually do. And then I'll store it with moist paper towels in a clay pot in my pantry, so that it'll have some darkness and it'll have a little bit of moisture. And I'll go in there all winter long and re-moisten the top paper towel that I have used, just to make sure that they stay moist. You can also freeze these. You can dehydrate them. They work out wonderfully. So that was my harvest this year. And let me get my basket over here. Let's see. Can y'all see these in here? I don't know if you can see those or not. But I'll take another picture, a shot of that, so you can see it from a top view. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and may you be fully blessed.